Yeah, we are in fact losing freedom of speech, but probably started quite a few years ago when we began to integrate the cancer of political correctness into our culture. And I say that with all gusto because it is. A lot of people don't know that political correctness is Marxist, that it was something that was created in the 20s because Marxists were trying to take over Europe and it didn't work because Marxism is for idiots. And it didn't work economically, and they said, well, what if we turned it into a social construct and just tried to deconstruct society, Western culture, because people weren't falling for what they were espousing. So they decided that we needed to create an environment where everything was negative. Everything is about offense. Everything is about destruction. Victimhood, everything. Well, that was the key, because remember, Marxism was about victims. You have the bourgeois who own, and then the proletariat who are the ones that work. And so his entire theory was people that worked for somebody else were not getting their fair share, that what they were doing for their labor, they weren't getting paid commensurate for what they did, and so they were going to rise up and take over. And of course that doesn't happen because most people aren't entrepreneurs or have the courage or the savvy to start your own business. That idea didn't work because what was the idea of America? America was, you can be anything you want. You can be black, white, you can be African, you can be Italian, you can be German, whatever you want. You can come here, bring your stuff, you got some good food, bring it, start a restaurant, that's good. Give us everything you got. But then you become one of us.
You become an American.
You become an American. And you honor your culture that you came from by blending it into ours and becoming this wonderful, free society. And so with that in mind, people realize that you're going to have to work together. We're going to have some basic concepts that we, make us Americans. And, the thing that was interesting, though, to me was that we had this country built on people who were willing to die for the ability to not have tyranny upon them, not to be oppressed by someone saying, here's how you have to worship. That we don't want a Church of England. We're not going to have a king that because he happens to be born is better than the rest of us. Money's not going to be taken from us without being representation, taxation without representation. We want to be able to decide how it goes. The government's job was to defend your right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness.
Right.
If you don't get
it,
that's your fault.
Yeah.
You screwed up. You didn't get it. Go for it again. Don't give up. But it's not guaranteed. And that's where it really got wrong. And that's really the big difference between liberal and conservative thought, is conservatives care enough about people to say no. Liberals don't understand that idea. They like creating essentially a slave class of people who, by paying them off so they can have enough to get cigarettes and food, they'll vote for. And so you create, really this lack of dignity for work and an expectation of someone to go out and work hard. And so that is a difference between the way conservatives and liberals think. And here's the thing, I care about the poor. As a Christian, I have to care about the poor, but Jesus also said this, the poor you'll always have with you. They're not going to disappear. This is part of the thing. So will you take care of them for me? Will you voluntarily give of your blessings to these other people? This is what Christians have done throughout history. They're the ones that we started soup kitchens. We're the ones that started flop houses. Christians started all these places. The church would take care of people. That's how it used to be. There were institutions within our culture that would take care of those who didn't have it, or your own family would take care of you. But it wasn't my job to go to the neighbor and say, you owe me because I don't have as much of you. That is not who we are.